Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, JC, and I'm here once again with the man, Jason Blundell. How you doing?
Hey, JC. How you doing, man?
You almost didn't shake my hand.
I always shake your hand. What are you talking about?
In the interview we did on my channel, I missed your handshake at the beginning. I was like, I looked away, and you had that, and people in the comments put the timestamp. They're like, man, that was awkward. I'm like,
JC, you missed it. Yeah.
But it's been a crazy couple of days.
It hasn't.
A crazy.
Welcome to my home, by the way. I came to your home. Welcome to my home.
I know, that is one thing I've been thinking about too.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like, you know, as crazy as it was being in my apartment and stuff, I still felt kind of like I'm in my element.
Sure.
Here, completely not in my element at all. Like I have no idea. Like
welcome to LA.
This is like crazy. Just being in LA, just being here. It's like Disney World times 10. Times 100. Like it's just crazy seeing the Treyarch logo just on the building.
It's like that for me every day. I gotta be honest. It doesn't go away.
You just wake up and you just go like we were having this conversation too.
Yeah.
You just wake up and you just go, I work at Treyarch.
It's great.
Like that must be a magical feeling.
It's great.
I love that feeling. That'd be amazing.
And now I've got the pleasure to be a co-studio head. So I get to represent the whole studio. It's such an honor. It's such a privilege because I've never worked with a more talented set of individuals. So to kind of come in every day and let's imagine that I make up some craziness and I've got a bunch of people who can just like, I'll solve that for you. It's incredible.
How you feel about the reveal so far? Are you feeling pretty good?
I hope so. I mean, I hope like people out there are liking it.
I think it was definitely interesting. It's definitely an interesting reveal so far.
Yeah, I think it spoke to what we're trying to do, which was, it's very unorthodox in terms of normal announcers, but I think that's what the pack represents, right? Which was, like I said on the stream, it's for the community. It's and so it's not the traditional, we'd come out and do the Treyarch stream first or the Activision thing. I wanted it to have that spirit, and I hope people took that because that was the intent.
Do you know the amount of articles I saw just saying stuff like Treyarch goes to YouTuber's apartment, like Jason Blundell goes to small YouTuber's place, and there's even an article saying how you can see my bathroom in the background.
Yeah,
that's how
it's awesome.
That's how crazy it was in that environment, and it's just been so cool just to see this entire thing. Just the fact that this is even real is so crazy to me. The fact that this is all happening and I get to be a part of this is just, I'm so thankful. Again, thank you so much for that.
Thank you. I said that at the time.
It's it blows my mind just being able to remember this stuff, because years from now, people are going to look back. Nowadays we look back and we're like, all right, when's the last time something like this happened? Resurrection is the only time I can think of. And at the time though, that was part of the season though. That was the fourth DLC. So, it felt like, okay, it's still DLC 4, but this is something new and extra that it really felt like a myth for the longest time. I didn't believe it. I didn't fully believe you were coming to my place until I think in that interview, there was a lot of posters that we put up for that interview just to make the room look a lot better, because I had posters before, but having all the DLC maps in order in the back was really cool. And I remember when I got those posters and saw that it was from Treyarch, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening.
Well, that's because I couldn't give you the posters at XP, you see.
That's true.
So that was me doing good on that because unfortunately you couldn't come to XP.
The only thing about the interview is I feel like I missed a couple of questions.
Okay.
Just missed a couple of questions here or there, because it's just so in the moment, there's so much to talk about, and there's so much.
Well, now's the time because you have a professional camera rather than us two sitting at your computer. Let's hope it works.
Yeah, we were really hoping it works there.
Yeah.
But one thing I really want to ask, and I think this is for the community's sake more than anything, just one question that I see brought up a lot, and I didn't ask it at the time.
Sure.
This is going to be maybe a hard question, but what was the decision behind picking those 8 maps? Because a lot of people out there are saying, where's Mob of the Dead? And I know a lot of people are buried as well. What was the decision in the 8 maps that we have compared to, say, Mob of the Dead, for example?
So, I mean, I'll take Mob of the Dead separately, but as a general problem, like we said on the stream, we started with 4, and we went to 8.
Right.
The problem was 8's not enough as well.
Yeah.
And at some point, the fact that I was able to look at it with our team and say we could do 8, we were already excited, and I think someone at the time said, well, we could do 12, and I was like, no, we're getting to the point of silly. 8's already crazy, So it was very hard to pick, and I was looking for, knowing that the timeline was coming out and knowing what we were trying to do. I was trying to pick the set which I felt gave the best foundation combination of had narrative purpose and fun gameplay.
Gotcha.
And that's not to discredit any of the other maps that are not included in there.
Because Mob of the Dead isn't I think a lot of people, and I've talked to you about this before, like I think just in terms of just how great that map was, like I think it's either the best map or one of the best maps y'all ever did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all the maps that you guys do are awesome. Like there's not a map that I'm like, oh, I never want to play this, because I've put hours and hours into every single map.
Yeah.
So it's just, like you said, like I think, especially with Zombies Chronicles and just telling the story as well, I think I kind of noticed this afterwards. I'm like, wait, all the maps you picked were all the old, that was all the old crew.
Yep.
Like when we had the original characters back in the day, how they used to be, now we have all those maps.
And that's the original 1.0 characters running around.
Yeah.
They, HD versions of them, but
It's so cool.
But yeah, Mob, I can't say too much, but what I would say is, I'm sure there's another purpose for that at some point. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I didn't feel it thematically fit in the pack, and who knows?
But you know that map's special.
You
know that map's special.
I enjoy that map. It was great fun. It was probably one of the first maps that we did a big Treyarch outing. So we actually took everyone and went to Alcatraz.
The coolest thing.
I think down on the docks, I think there's a tree there. And I think I mentioned this to you when we were out, but there's a tree, and if you go near it, it's creaking. Well, our sound guys were actually there with the headphones and the microphone. That tree is the actual creek from the tree at Alcatraz Island. I think we went in there and measured the whole place.
I think you said you weren't allowed to do that, maybe?
No, we were, sorry, Alcatraz. We really kind of studied the place. And when we first put down Mob, we actually built all of Alcatraz.
That's insane.
All of it.
So not just the stuff that we saw in the distance. We only have really the docks.
Yeah, well,
the
there's
outside, but there's a lot more.
If you get a picture of Alcatraz, you'll see there's whole sections that we cut off. Well, we actually built that. We built the whole thing, and then
that's crazy.
And then as we kind of hit alpha, which is a kind of development term for a certain point in sorry to talk down, but it's a point where you've got to make hard decisions. And we said we've got to lose this, and we kind of chopped it up and made it more condensed. But we went for an authentic recreation of the whole space, which was great fun.
That's so cool.
So it has a special place in our hearts,
At least that's good. I think that's a good answer for the community.
Yeah.
That. I think that was one of the number one questions I had. Just after that whole stream was, why not Mob? Why not stuff like that?
There's 8 maps, and I think it has another place, and
I think another thing is I was trying to tell people after this it is insane on its own that we're getting 8 maps. I am just happy if we got 4 maps. I'm just happy if we got 1 map. Literally, this is so crazy that I have certain favorites. I like Buried. I love Buried a lot. But at the end of the day, I'm still playing 8 zombie maps that are newly remastered. It's just it's crazy.
It's like the transit characters, right? There's maps that the transit characters on that I would love to go back and to play with and do fun things with. My version of that is the comics, and I'm very happy with what we're doing on the comics in terms of bringing those characters back into focus, playing with their tone slightly. Some people, they're fans of the transit characters and setups, other people weren't. Hopefully I'm not offending anyone, but I went in the comics and just changed the tone slightly and to see what kind of reaction people are having them.
I love the comic book versions of them. I think it's really cool, and I like how in the timeline, so something that's newly came up recently, is they're known as Victus.
Yeah.
Victus. That was the word I read on stream. At first when I read it, I was like,
it said Victor.
I was like, who the heck is this? Yes. And then I thought about it later. I'm like, I looked up the word and it said it meant survivors, and I'm like, that's definitely them. And then that was just so cool. I like the fact that
you see my love for Latin now, don't you?
Oh yeah, so much. Ultimus now too. But just the entire thing, the timeline, all this coming out around the same time, seeing all this stuff, and just how it all connects. Having the comic book as well. You guys really are filling in a lot of the. I think a lot of people are saying a lot of the plot holes that we see as plot holes because we don't have answers to are being filled in. A lot of the unanswered questions that we're always like, that's just never going to be answered. It's just a plot hole, right? But it's so cool to be like, wait, Maxis got teleported to the crazy place instead of Shangri-La. Everybody always thought it was Shangri-La for the longest time. When he in that moon radio, when he dies, when he kills himself or whatever, we always thought he got teleported somewhere else. Because they're like, where'd you pick him up? And he's like, how'd you get me out of that wretched tunnel? It's like, what the heck? We didn't know what it was. We didn't know if it was buried or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it just casually mentions crazy place.
Yeah.
And then that's where he learns how to turn into electronics. Like, that is insane that we're getting answers like this out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And it's all abrupt and like, not abrupt, just all of a sudden.
Well, it's sudden, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like,
it's disruptive.
Hey guys.
It's disruptive, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it's disruptive.
Because like I personally thought, like Revelations came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was sad. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little sad because I was so sad that I wasn't gonna be able to get anything.
Were you sad at the end of Origins?
Yeah, I'm always sad when a Treyarch game, like when a Treyarch game ends its finale, like I always get pretty sad. But like I remember Revelations.
You're making me feel like I should change my ways. When I see a little heartbreaking, I'm like, no, maybe we shouldn't be so.
You got to make games in 5 months. that is the new time schedule. But like, for real, like I had this, this whole idea that I'm not going to see anything. We're not going to see anything, guys, till 2 years again. 3 years, but about 2 years once all the DLC is out. You know what I mean? And the fact that we're getting all of this timeline, answering questions, giving people who've never even played the old maps now can have a basis and they can go in and go,
yep,
this is how the storyline, this is the chronicles of the storyline and how it's played out in the past, and now it's all connected. Now we have the transit crew with way more importance, I think, than they did before.
Try to.
Yeah. I mean, they even have a legendary name, Victus, which is cool. Like, I love that. And all this is connected. All this is just so sudden, so out of nowhere. I never thought this would happen this year.
Right.
And it just has me so excited for the future. Like, I love it. Like, I don't know why I'm not really even asking you a question. I'm just telling you, like, I love this so much. Like, it's just
here's the thing,
awesome.
I said this in other interviews as well. I hope that we've earned some credibility to have the community have a little bit of patience with us, because yes, we put you on cliffhangers. Yes, we put you in uncomfortable situations
every dang time,
and we take risks and go to places that are hopefully a little bit unpredictable. Mm-hmm. I hope that also that the people in the community who have kind of come along with us, I think, are growing to kind of trust the fact that we have their best intention at heart, and that doesn't always mean giving you the nice wrapped up Hollywood ending. It's I think that's one of the spirits that kind of keeps the community growing, keeps the conversation alive. So I try to reward and I try to give solid things to people to hold on to, while also kind of keeping the fun going.
So it's kind of this, like you said in the stream, it's like the community goes through these peaks and troughs, like over and over, and it's just, it keeps growing. Yeah,
and you got to keep changing what it is that's moving that peak and trough, right? Because if you did the same thing every single time, that would wear thin. And so you're looking at kind of keeping a spirit going, but hopefully trying to change the techniques you're using to create that emotion. Because like if you looked at, let's say, Revelations ending and look at Origins ending, you could say, well, at meta level, it's the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
But if you looked at a narrative structural system, they're radically different.
Okay.
So there's two things going on, right? There's an emotional response, which you'd say they're spiritually connected, but narratively, they're doing different things to you.
It's like when that like, do you see like how quickly did you see like the reaction of the Revelations ending? Like, I'm sure you
Pretty
knew,
quick,
like you just knew people were like, wait, there has to be more.
Well, the thing that was amazing to me was, I thought they'd all have learned since Origins.
you just kind of assumed like, hey, we've done this.
We've done this before. They'll be fine with that. And I think it's really fun. And I love the fact that Origins was the example. I'll use that one rather than Revelations right now. But it was wonderful to watch the community, their group mentality move over time. It was fascinating.
You're saying like how the opinion changes over time?
Yeah, I mean, you start off with certain people kind of crying seeing the end, and then other people raging at the end, and then the Reddit exploding over the end, and then time's passing, and then suddenly it's moving, and it
makes sense now.
And
it's kind of like, also that happens a lot with we've talked about this before, because I always say Shangri-La is like my favorite map ever.
You do. It's your map.
Yeah, it's best. I mean, Grog Crovey is also there, but like Shangri-La is my favorite of the classics.
Yep.
And what was really cool is to see something like that over time. I think a lot of people are extremely excited to play Shangri-La again. And back in the day, I remember it wasn't, like, no offense to Shangri-La, but just at the time, everybody loved Ascension, and they loved they loved the ability to run around in trains and just, like, you know, it was way easier on Ascension and stuff to play. And Shangri-La was so hard and just so close quarters that it was just so radically different that a lot of people just didn't really warm up to it as well. But over time, like you say, it's so cool to see how not only the storyline perception of everything, but just even the gameplay and the fun. Like, I've said this before too, like Zetsubo no Shima, everybody always makes jokes about Zetsubo no Shima. But I love Zetsubo, and I've always said that I think people are going to, just like Shang, give it 3 years. Give it 3 years, people are going to be like,
it's hard, right? Awesome. You know, for kind of content creators, because we, you know, you might have missed this when you kind of came into the recording today, but I said that the guys in the studio are more excited about YouTubers turning up here than anything else. You know, you may be excited kind of coming to visit us.
Trust me.
Our guys are more excited the fact that you're here. And I've been stopped in the corridor, I can't tell you how many times, today and yesterday, and saying, did they like it? Did they like it? Because that's what they live for. They live for making product that you guys are excited and like. And that's what makes them get out of bed every day. So to have you here playing it, like, I know when I walk out and, you know, walk and get some food now, they're going to stop me and ask me, are they liking it? Are they enjoying it? How are they doing? Because that's what we're driven by. We're driven by the community enjoying stuff. And that's a hard road for me to navigate, because I have to also turn to the team and say, listen, they're going to have a bit of trouble with this stuff, but stick with it, guys, because they're going to stick with us. So
they're going to rage a little bit at Revelations.
They're going to rage a little bit now, right? But don't worry, that's, you know, that's not an indictment of work and so forth. That's part of the path that we have to go. And those early maps, they inspired me. You know, when you talk about Shang, right? There's a wonderful spirit there. There's a wonderful self-contained narrative, but it fits into the overall thing.
The time loops.
And it had a difficulty which was provocative in itself, right? I love that. You know, I love the fact that it did that. Now, every map shouldn't do that, but I love the fact that we have those, and I love the fact that people in the community will argue about the different things. You know, I like this one, I like that one.
It's not, like you said, it's not a set pattern. You have these different maps for different people.
Yes.
I mean, there's so many, like, if you just look at Black Ops 1, like, if you look at the Black Ops 1 season, and you look at the Black Ops 3 season even, like, there's so many different things. I mean, you have the Ryzen Drac, for example. You have the bows. You can get the bows pretty much every game. You know, it's just something so fun to use. And then you have something like Grog Krovi where you have to get out of the box. It's just a drastically different change in terms of wonder weapons, and just how you use them.
I hope we never find the perfect formula. I hope we never do.
That's a cool statement.
I hope we never do. Because if we did, I'd probably stop doing it. Like, if I ever got to the point when
it's pretty.
I think if we ever got to the point when I know exactly what it is now. Because I think when the excitement goes, or the kind of thrill, the fear goes, then I feel like we wouldn't be getting the best out of our creative individuals here at Treyarch.
So, like, that's the fun of it, is like that's probably like the times when you know, like, you got something is when, or you may have something, is when you're scared about it, right?
Yeah, when you know that you don't know, that's a good place.
When you know that you don't.
That's very Socratean of me, but that's the kind of key thing. You want to be putting it out and going, I just don't know. I just don't know. Because that's exciting for me. You know, earlier in my career, you'd never have heard me say that, because when you go into the games industry,
you want to get. I mean, you just.
I'll tell you a story which nearly every person in the games industry could tell you if you had a chat with them.
Okay.
When you first get into the games industry, there's this feeling that, oh gosh, one day they're going to find out that I'm a fraud and I'll get kicked out. Because when you start working in the games industry, you're like, this is so amazing. This is so fun. I'm such a fraud. You know, because everyone around you is so talented and so passionate and energetic, and you're like, I'm not as good as them. They're all amazing. And so early in people's careers, they're a little bit more restrained, because they want to make sure they're hitting all the time. And as you kind of go along, you get to a point where suddenly you start to think, oh, I'm actually okay. And I can hold my weight with these guys.
And then you experiment.
Yeah, and then you realize that everyone else is having the same fears. And then a team matures and then settles down with itself. And that's what the benefit you have at Treyarch. You know, people have been here 10 plus years, all working together and staying together. That angst calms down. And then you say, okay, let's go places that we would be scared to go. Because now we're comfortable with each other.
And it's cool because you can say it as a team.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, as a team, let's go for this.
Yeah. And let's go to the, we're all comfortable with our talents. We all know how to talk to each other. So there's this what's called the development shorthand. If you're working with a brand new team, everything has to be long form, and so your expectations and your what you're trying to do has to come back, because everything has to be long form. When a team's worked together for many, many, many years, it comes so short that you can then take really experimental steps because you can get there very quickly. So that's the blessing of such talented people in the studio.
That's so cool to hear the insight on that.
Yeah, it's a bit devy stuff, but
it's so cool to just hear that side of it, because like we always just like the way we kind of look at it, like as YouTubers, as players of it, I guess we kind of look at it and we're like, they're going to try to make the best zombies like they possibly can with each map, but like, when we think about, we're like, they want each map to feel like Black Ops 3 zombies, but like in a lot of ways, I mean, y'all take so many risks in so many areas, and it's really cool to see that even like with every single zombies game, every map has its own unique twists and its own unique experimentation in so many areas. I mean, Zetsubo has...
I describe it as character. That's how I want to say it.
You're planting seeds and growing things in Zetsubo. It's crazy. I mean, you had to go water a plant underwater. How does that even work? I don't know. But you had to do that. And in Garage, I mean, you have dragons like all across the map. You have like... I think that was the introduction of the time trial element, where you could just get new weapons and stuff by like speed running the beginning, and that was such a cool new element, because before a lot of people would never buy like weapons off the wall in the beginning because they just want to save their points. But if you're going fast in Garage and you want that wrench, you have to buy the RK5 at the beginning, and you have to go through it fast. It's just each map has its own little thing in Black Ops 3 that's just been so cool and different and just so unique. And so like honestly, you could play like each one almost. You could be in a different mood and be like, hey, I want to play this map. Hey, I want to play Revelations, because Revelations is really fun. Like as a map, like it's just a very kind of more classic style map, but really fun.
Revelations, and some people, again, skip over this, but I was really, really proud and happy with the team in terms of their flow. Because if you look at that map, when you play it, it flows really, really nicely. Oh yeah. There's a wonderful thing about it, and if you're a guy who's, I think for both sides, right? If you're a guy who's into story, obviously there's a chock-a-block full of that stuff. But if you're a guy into kind of pure gameplay and kind of mechanics, even though it's very simple, I feel it flows really nicely. And it's one of the things we talk about when we do map and geo creation is the tempo of space, which sounds all kind of hippie and stuff. But what it basically means is, what kind of speed, what interruptions are happening? Does it feel abrupt? What kind of elevation change am I doing? What kind of left turn, right turn, choice decision, choice guilt? If you give 3 views of like, this is a whole thing, and you'll hear this in multiplayer map design when they talk about, you don't want to give more than 2 to 3 options.
That's like where the 3-lane system.
The 3-lane system comes from, because if you put 4 in, then you feel like you missed out on something. And so when we look at spaces and you look at windows you can mantle through, or paths you can go, there's this whole thing where we go through and go, at this point now, how many choices are you having? Okay, what are we doing with lighting? Are we now emphasizing the window? And then, if we pick the window orange and the corridor blue, you'll go for that, because humans naturally go for oranges over blues.
That's so crazy.
And then when we talk about lighting, we say, we're going to draw your eye this way. We're going to make a sound over here to bring you that way. So we try and construct each kind of space, knowing the kind of visual language and structure that will influence you subliminally. And now you're running at full speed shooting zombies. Because you're going so fast, you're not thinking about it.
But it's subconscious.
So that's why we put that stuff in, because we know that you're not going to be thinking, but we can draw you in a certain angle.
So you're saying like Revelations, like you think you did, I think so too.
I was really happy with how we did the flow on that one. I think other maps we've played with symbology and kind of graphical design to sometimes better effect, but the flow and tempo of that I was really happy with. But yeah, in certain maps, if you look at color and lighting and there's whole university courses on this stuff about what you can do with visuals and kind of foreground, midground, background elements, and to play with people. There's other ones that I would say excelled in that more, but I really like Revelations for the kind of tempo you get moving through the space.
All right, well, Jason, it's been a pleasure. It's been an amazing week, an amazing reveal. I am absolutely thrilled to be able to play these maps again. Cool, you have no idea. Like it's just crazy. I'm just happy to finally get more zombies, honestly, from Treyarch.
Thank you for hosting the reveal. It was really, really well done.
Thank you for allowing me to host. That was insane meeting you
really
in my hometown. It was awesome, though. It was a lot of fun. Definitely the best couple days of my entire life, probably.
Oh, man.
So, like, if I can think of any days in the past 10 years that have been amazing, it's been those days.
Well, I got to come back to Auburn to get some more food. There's lovely food there. Oh.
It was really good.
Yeah,
I don't even go out for the fancy food that much because I'm just a college guy. I just go for...
Well, next time I'm in town, I'll swing by and let's go and get some food.
We'll do that. Thank you so much, Jason.
It's always
my pleasure.
Absolutely.